Hi everyone, welcome to the Steam Oven Guru channel. Today we're going to be talking about the incredible induction cooking technology. Now, this technology is a revolutionizing means of cooking that offers great features, but also it comes with some potential limitations too. So today we're going to be going through 5 key benefits of induction cooking, and then followed by a few pointers about the potential hurdles that you may face while trying to plan an induction into your kitchen. In the end, I will also have a segment reserved for builders, architects, and designers too. All right, let's get this thing heated. First of all, let's talk about speed. Now, induction cooking is super fast. It is faster than traditional means of cooking because there is no mediums or limitations between the cooking surface, the heat, and the actual ingredients. What I mean by that is, if you look at regular gas cooking or electric cooking, there's a few different mediums for the heat to go through. The heat is first generated in the bottom, either the coil or the coil underneath the glass, or the gas from the burning element. And then the heat will go through a medium. For gas burners, it is air, and for electric traditional burners, it is that smooth glass top. And then the heat will go through that medium into the base of the pot, travels through the pot itself, and finally hit your ingredient, your food, or your liquid from within the pot. And that is 3-4 different layers of mediums to go through for the heat to finally reach the final ingredient. For induction, the heat is not generated from within the cooking surface, but instead the cooking surface generates a controlled electromagnetic field about this high from the surface of the glass, and any iron molecules in that area would be reacted and have created a resistance which creates heat to generate heat from within the pot itself, so that it is a direct transition from the pot's inside into the food directly. There's almost no mediums of limitations for the heat to go through. And that's why the food or liquid ingredient inside the pot gets heated up super quickly. And for a pot of water like this, about 1 liter, you're looking at between 40 and 60 seconds for it to come to a full boil. And if we do spill though, that's going to bring us to the second point of the benefits of induction cooking, is that it is really easy to clean. So for example, if we spilled a bunch of liquids or food or water or soup on the surface itself, if it were a regular gas stove, of course the gas burners would be burnt on. You have to wipe those down or scrape them clean. If it's a regular glass smooth top, what's going to happen is the smooth top actually gets superheated during the cooking process and becomes softer. The food ingredient to hit the glass surface will likely leave a permanent white mark damage that cannot be cleaned off. But for induction, like we explained earlier, there is no direct heat coming from the bottom of the cooking surface. Instead, the heat is going to be from inside the pot itself. All there is that there may be a little bit of a residue heat on the glass surface, which doesn't have any burnt-on effect. So no matter what you have spilled, there is not going to be any permanent damage on the smooth surface here. So an easy wipe clean can get most of the stains off, and there will be no burnt-on stains. One more trick to help the cleaning even easier and faster is that I like to use a oven-safe, heat-resistant baking sheet like this one here. This is a silicone baking mat that is oven safe up to about 600 degrees Fahrenheit. And if we do this and keep cooking with this, we can see that because there is no direct heat coming from the glass surface, instead the electromagnetic field will travel through the surface into the pot. This cooking still happens normally. And if we were to make any spills or splatters around the cooking surface, they will land, most of them, onto the sheet here. And I can just bring this and take it to a sink and have an easy clean job. And there will be no effort in cleaning this at all. This also helps with the safety aspect. That brings us to the third benefit of induction cooking, is that it's very safe. For example, this has been boiling and rolling into a very hot temperature from within the pot. But because there is no heat coming from beneath the surface of the glass, this surface here, it's hot from the residue heat from the pot, but it's actually touchable and I won't burn. because there is no actual heat coming from the surface. You will get an ouch from it, but you will not get a burn damage from it. This is great for families with young kids or maybe really active pets. And if you're looking for something that is safer for your family or your cooking, induction is a very safe way to go. This mat here also helps by limiting the amount of heat that is transitioned into the glass surface. So if you remove the pot and remove the mat, the amount of residual heat left in the surface is minimal. This also helps for maintenance as well. Sometimes if we see a glass smooth surface, there's going to be a lot of tiny, long, short, mixed pattern scratches from rugged bottom pots, because if you have a big cast iron skillet or anything heavy, it is likely for it to leave a permanent mark on the cooking surface. But for a silicone mat like this, it will cushion a lot of the damages that can happen. For example, if we have a very large and heavy cast iron pan and we put the sheet here, if I were to bang it or toss it or move it around, this will not damage the cooking surface because this mat is there to help protect it. This is not necessary, but I like to use it just for the simple to clean and to protect the glass even further. Now let's talk about design as well. This is a short topic because I will leave that to most of the designers out there. And induction cooking surface is very easy to implement into a modern design. As you can see, I have a fairly open kitchen here with faux backsplash and a very wide counter. And having this clean looking black glass surface is very good to implement this into my seating island, where I can actually have family and friends sit here and even eat hot pot out of the cooking surface and make everybody accessible to the island. And this still flows well into the design and not blocking any view or any kind of a flow in the counter itself. Recently, we have been introduced to a new technology and we started carrying them in our companies and stores, is that there is a special type of induction cooking surface known as the invisible induction cooking. It is limited in terms of material supply because it has to work with a certain kind of countertops. The idea is that the induction elements from within this can be installed underneath the countertop or tile material so that the cooking surface can essentially look just like this with nothing on there. And the pot can be heated from just by placing it into the right spot onto a counter. It is really cool. It requires a lot of work and planning into the cabinets and countertop install. So it's too much information to go through here. But if you are interested, let me know and I can find more information on this for you guys and share with you. Benefit number 5 is going to be energy efficiency. Now, we've all seen how fast induction can heat up. So that's true for boiling, for fast boils, searing your steak, or doing a quick wok fry. And those are the times where induction will greatly reduce the amount of time for waiting the pot or pan to heat up. And also it will reduce the overall cooking time in those high heat scenarios. What about medium heat and low heat then? Medium is great because for gas or electric, if you're trying to achieve a medium heat, you almost have to tweak the control yourself and allow it to come up to temperature, then monitor it so it doesn't go over and it doesn't go under. For induction, because it is so well controlled by the electrical controls inside, it can achieve a medium heat consistently, and it does not have the food changing temperature as much as gas or electric because the pot itself is maintained at a consistent temperature only from within the pot. This is true especially for low simmering situations. We all know that if you are doing any kind of a stew or low and slow cooking, the whole room kind of heats up because whether it's electric or gas cooking, that one burner is always kind of on and off puts a lot of heat in your surrounding area. And you still kind of have to monitor it so that it doesn't overburn or anything. But for induction, a low and really, really low cooking for over long periods of time, the heat is still only just focused from inside the pot's bottom itself, so that energy can be greatly conserved. And also you're not having to continuously monitor to be mindful of overboiling or burning anything at all. So over all 3 levels of cooking in terms of temperature, induction is very energy efficient, and it can help you from not having to monitor it as much. Now, this all sounds wonderful and great, but what are some of the potential limitations then? So first is going to be cost. Compared to regular cooking methods like electric or gas, induction will be less expensive on an everyday basis because you're going to be spending less time and energy cooking every day. However, the initial cost of a built-in induction surface or an induction range will be higher compared to regular electric or gas cooking top or ranges. So if this fits the budget in your renovation, then this would be a good way to go. Second is going to be cookware compatibility. So not all cookware will work with induction cooking technology. Something like this in a stainless steel pattern would work, and also any kind of a cast iron like I have in the back wall there, or any induction safe cookware. Normally, these companies who manufacture cookware will mark them on the bottom to indicate that this particular pan or pot or any other cookware is suitable for induction. But not all of them are. So for example, some glass or copper or some of the ceramic pots that we normally use for stewing and Asian cooking, those will most likely not work. If you don't have any cookware that works with induction cooking, then of course getting additional induction possible cookware will add to the total budget for planning an induction cooking kitchen. We also have to consider renovation challenges as well. So some of the homes that are older are only powered in terms of heat by natural gas or other means and not electricity. That's where we have to consider if there is going to be enough high voltage connections to power this induction cooktop. And if there isn't any, how much more cost it would bring to run additional lines into the home. And if you already have a regular electric cooking surface or even a regular induction cooking surface and you want to update them into a new one, that will make things a lot easier in terms of planning and your electrical work. One of the most interesting hurdles is actually a learning curve of how to use the induction cooking surface properly. And I ran into a lot of clients who consult with me in terms of how to use it better. The main reason, it's too fast and it's too powerful for most people. We just need to learn that this cooking surface will be about 2, 3, even 4 times faster than your regular means of cooking, so that we have to practice mise en place to get all the ingredients ready while cooking. And also, we need to make sure that we're controlling the power level and not putting it on high all the time, because you will burn things if you leave things on high. And that's where we need to follow recipes and use low, low, and medium accordingly to make sure that our dishes are cooked properly and not burnt. Another small potential that may cause some discomfort in people is that there is going to be some small amount of noise associated with induction cooking. I'm not sure if you can hear me right now, but there is a light buzzing sound that is coming from the pot as the iron molecules provide some resistance while the electromagnetic field is passing through them. And this resistance will generate a little bit of vibration and also sound that may be not comfortable for some users. But once we start cooking and once things start sizzling inside, and once we start to turn on our ventilation hood, that noise will become almost unnoticeable. Also, if you're using a better quality pan with higher iron content, like a more solid induction-safe cast iron cookware, the noise will be greatly reduced. A few more small things are going to be things that are consistent with other cooking methods like electric. For example, if there's going to be a power outage, you can't really use this because there is no power to it. And also, because induction is so powerful and they focus the heat not from the bottom of the cooking surface, but instead in the pot itself, we need to make sure that we're not touching the pot because this part gets really hot. This part is not hot at all, but the bottom of the pan from cooking will turn into almost a heating element. So we need to be careful not to touch the edges and the bottom of the pan when we're cooking, which is kind of a common sense anyway, so don't do that for any cooking surfaces, please. One last part to touch on regarding potential hurdles is going to be the durability and the maintenance of the whole situation here. As I showcased earlier, if we're using any kind of a silicone oven-safe baking sheet in between the pot and the cooking surface of an induction cooking surface, this will make it a lot more durable and almost have no scratches because, once again, there is no direct contact from the pot and the surface itself. Even without a mat like this, just directly putting on this, normal manufacturers who make the induction cooking surfaces always use a super durable cook grade glass that is the strongest in the cooking industry. Damage on these will be something that we need to kind of be mindful of, but in most cases not cause of a major concern, as these are super durable. So what are some of the situations or scenarios where induction cooking can be beneficial to you? First is going to be constructions of new homes or new development sites. The city, I'm not sure where you guys are, but I'm in Vancouver, British Columbia, and there has been a lot of bylaws and changes in codes that limits the use of natural gas inside a home. And of course, as buildings become more green and more energy efficient, traditional electric cooking types will also be reduced as well. That's where the most energy efficient induction cooking can shine. For new constructions, we can plan the site properly, we can plan the power properly, and design them into a kitchen that suits your needs the best. Same thing goes for major renovations. For example, in my kitchen here, what we're sitting at right now used to be a big wall, so limiting my kitchen into a very small space. But now that my renovation is done, we have removed the wall, created this new wide open area that is both great for cooking and for serving and entertaining. So for major constructions and major renovations, this will be also a good technology to consider building into your kitchen. If you're in a home where you have an existing electric stove, cooktop, or an electric range, that's where a direct replacement may be good for you. So if you're considering maybe just changing out your old range, it will be a good opportunity to talk to your appliance guy, maybe myself, maybe somebody else, about considering swapping your electric stove into an induction one. That way it will help you to cook faster, cook cleaner, and cook in a more safe environment. Okay, now that we have covered the end user perspective, let's talk about what induction is going to do for designers, architects, and builders. So one thing that I've been noticing in the industry is that there has been a lot more limitations to ventilation and overall airflow and HVAC calculations inside a home. And for example, I have a hood fan right here, but it has to fall within a certain amount of airflow CFM, that is cubic feet per minute, to allow the space to be well ventilated, but also keeping a secure envelope of the building in terms of air tightness. So going for induction has a secondary benefit aside from all the stuff we mentioned earlier. So it's faster, it's cleaner, it's better looking, it's more efficient in energy consumption, but also by focusing the heat into the pot itself, we are eliminating all of the other cooking fumes or excess radiant heat from the regular electric coiltops to go into the surrounding environment. So that way, our ventilation effort is going to be focused just to ventilate the area from inside the pot. This, on average, will reduce about 2/3 of the ventilation requirement compared to regular gas cooking, and it will reduce about 1/2 of the ventilation requirement compared to regular electric cooking. This way, when we're planning a new space, or if we're planning to change a layout in the kitchen in an existing structure, we are going to be a lot more flexible in terms of what we can put and use for a ventilation fan. So sometimes we don't need a huge big motor to provide enough ventilation for an induction cooking surface compared to, say, a big gas wok range in a spice kitchen or anything like that. So this way, you can achieve a high heat, high output cooking method, but also allowing us to use a regular, not super powerful motor to get the job done. This also works into the whole structure of the building as well, because normally in new constructions or renovations, we have to run the duct of the ventilation hood through a wall or through some kind of ceiling or part of the floor as well. And by being able to utilize a regular flow motor for the ventilation hood and not a super high powerful one for those big gas ranges, we can also limit the amount of noise and vibration that comes from within the ventilation itself. So that if you're working with a more airtight or a more compact environment, that vibration and noise can be greatly reduced because we're going to be using a much more efficient cooking technology that doesn't require as much airflow. We've been noticing there's a greatly increased amount of inquiries about energy efficient housing, passive home, or net zero housing. And in those properties and projects, we notice that a controlled ventilation over a well-planned induction cooking surface is almost the only go-to to satisfy all the energy requirements. Of course, there will be exceptions, but for the general rule of thumb, there will be a certain amount of appliances and appliance packages that are specifically designed to reach that passive house, whether level 1 to level 5 or a complete net zero housing requirements. For those, of course, we'll begin a longer conversation on the side, so we can consult with designers and architects as needed. But for now, just remember, if you're planning any kind of a energy efficient housing, an induction surface with a well-planned ventilation will be the way to go. So there you have it. Induction cooking, it's fast, it's clean, it's safer, it flows well into a modern design kitchen, and it's better for your wallet on the long run and better for the planet. So if you are planning a replacement, a renovation, or new build project, and if you understand the benefits versus the potential limitations of induction cooking, why not consider this type of cookware for your future home? All right, I hope you have learned enough, and also if you have any questions, let me know about this induction cooking and other stuff on the channel. If you are looking for cooking videos and cooking tips on steam ovens, go check out my other videos regarding different recipes you can use for the combination steam ovens. I'm the Steam Oven Guru. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.